The Jewish community here in the GTA and around the world will begin celebrating Passover at sundown. This 8-day holiday starts with family and friends gathering for a feast called the Seder. For more on the origins of Passover and its traditions, we're joined this afternoon by Rabbi Stephen Wise. He is with the Shari Bethel congregation in Oakville. Rabbi Wise, good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us. Happy early Passover, I suppose, since it doesn't start till sundown. But let's talk about the Passover traditions that are going to begin taking place as of sundown this evening.
Yes, thanks for having me. Already the preparations have begun, cleaning the house of all the chametz, all the bread substances that are in your home. So we're cleaning the ovens and cleaning the fridge and changing over the dishes. So a lot of preparations already in Jewish homes, probably been happening throughout the week and definitely finishing this afternoon.
And Rabbi, where does Passover sort of rank or land, I should say, in terms of like the priority in your religion? You know, I'm thinking of Easter, Christmas, Hanukkah, Passover. Where does it sort of land?
Yeah, it's one of the most important holidays in the Jewish tradition, and around the world, I would say Jews are going to be gathering wherever they are. I know of a Seder in Nepal. One of our youth groupers told me that she organized a Seder in Australia, where she's at university for a semester. And certainly here in the Greater Toronto area and across Ontario, families are gathering, in relatives, families, with friends, getting ready to celebrate this festival of freedom.
And in these gatherings, Rabbi, what are some of the sort of traditions involved at these? I assume there's food involved, but also other gatherings. What sort of traditions and things do you do?
Yeah, there's lots of food. We use a Seder plate. I'm just going to show you one sample of it. And we have special items that would go on this plate, like a roasted egg to celebrate the circular understanding of our life and the cycles. We have bitter herbs to honor the bitterness of slavery. We have something called charoset, which it's the mortar for the bricks. It's because building all the pyramids. And then we have a Haggadah. This is a book, sort of a menu on how to do the Seder. It's got all the steps one by one.
Okay, and you know, as a rabbi, you know, obviously you speak to members of your congregation. What are you hearing from people in the community this year from the synagogue? What's on people's minds right now?
Well, I think, you know, there's two things. Within our community, we're recognizing there's been a bit of a rise in anti-Semitism and hate, and we're sort of recognizing that and know we want to gather and remind ourselves that, you know, there was a time that we were in slavery and we managed to, go to freedom with God's help. But it's also a time to recognize that we invite people into the Seder. We invite the stranger, the oppressed, those who are hungry are invited to sit at our table and eat. And so we also recognize in Canada, with inflation and rising prices and food and everything, that there are a lot of needy. And so we want to invite those people as well to celebrate with us this celebration.
And Rabbi, the strength and resiliency of people of the Jewish faith, where does that come from, and how does it manage to sustain and maintain year after year? You've highlighted some of the issues right now.
Well, you know, I think back to the Seders I used to do with my grandparents, my Bubby and Zadie, who fled Europe during the war, were able to escape the Holocaust, but their entire family perished. And they came here and settled and created a new life for themselves in Ontario. And they had kids and they have grandkids. And so as I grew up, I looked at my Zadie, and he looked around the room and saw a room full of people where there had been nothing before. And so I looked at him and the resilience that he was able to still celebrate after seeing such hardships. Now it's my turn to have a Seder, to pass those same messages on to my children. And I see them, and I hope, and I feel strongly about the Jewish community that these traditions will get passed on from generation to generation.
Yeah, the circle, the traditions, the continuity continues. Rabbi Stephen Wise, really appreciate the time. Happy Passover. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.